The Fisherman Who Survived 438 Days Lost at Sea. Part 2. The sun rose slowly over the Pacific. Its golden light reflected across the endless ocean. To most people, it would have looked beautiful. To the fisherman, it looked terrifying. Another day, another battle, another reminder that he was still trapped. The food he had brought was almost gone. A few scraps remained, not enough to last, not enough to survive. He sat quietly in the boat, staring at the horizon. His stomach twisted with pain. The hunger was becoming unbearable. At first, it felt like a simple ache. Now it felt like an animal clawing at his insides. Every thought became food. Every dream became food. Every memory became food. He imagined hot meals, fresh bread, rice, soup, anything. But imagination could not fill an empty stomach. The ocean didn't care. It stretched endlessly around him,
The
silent,
Pacific owns
cold,
me now.
merciless. Then something moved beneath the boat, a shadow, large, fast. The fisherman froze. Another shadow appeared. Then another. His heartbeat quickened. Sharks, several of them, circling beneath him, watching, waiting. The dark shapes glided through the water like ghosts. Their fins occasionally broke the surface. The fisherman held his breath. The boat suddenly felt smaller than ever. One mistake, one fall, one wave, and he would be in the water with them. The sharks followed him for hours, sometimes disappearing, sometimes returning, always present, always reminding him that death was never far away. As the days passed, his supplies finally ran out. The last piece of food disappeared. Now there was nothing, nothing except the ocean itself. The fisherman faced a terrible choice, either find food or die. The next morning he noticed a small fish swimming near the boat. Instinct took over. He lunged forward, missed. The fish vanished. But the encounter gave him hope. There was food out here, if he could catch it. For hours he tried, again and again, failure after failure, then finally, success. His hands closed around a struggling fish. For a moment he stared at it, breathing heavily. He knew what had to happen, but that didn't make it easier. With trembling hands he killed the fish. His first meal in days. The taste was horrible, raw, bloody. Nothing like the meals he remembered. Yet it was life, and life was all that mattered now. Soon he began hunting every day. Fish, small sea creatures, anything he could catch. The ocean that threatened to kill him had become his only source of survival. Weeks turned into months. The fisherman changed. His body became thinner. His face looked older. His eyes carried a strange emptiness. The loneliness was becoming dangerous. There was nobody to talk to, nobody to hear his voice, nobody to tell him everything would be okay. Sometimes he spoke to the sky, sometimes he spoke to the ocean, sometimes he spoke to himself. Anything to
Czy
break
ktoś
the
tam jest?
silence.
Tak cicho
The
dzisiaj.
silence was worse than the
Tylko
hunger,
morze mnie
worse
słyszy.
than the storms, worse than the sharks. Because silence allowed fear to grow, and fear never sleeps. One night, a violent storm returned. The sky exploded with lightning. Thunder shook the ocean. Towering waves crashed against the tiny boat. The fisherman clung desperately to the sides. Rain poured like waterfalls from the heavens. The boat rose and fell with terrifying force. Each wave felt like the end. Each second felt like borrowed time. Lightning illuminated the ocean. For a brief moment, he saw the massive waves surrounding him, walls of water, black mountains moving through the darkness. Then everything disappeared again. The storm raged for hours. The fisherman believed he would die before
The
sunrise.
Pacific owns me now.
Yet somehow the boat survived, and so did he. When morning finally arrived, he lay exhausted inside the boat, alive, but barely. The ocean had tested him again, and the ocean wasn't finished, far from it. Because the greatest enemy wasn't hunger, it wasn't sharks, it wasn't storms. It was something much worse, something that was already creeping into his mind: isolation. and before long it would begin changing him in ways he never imagined possible. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for part 3.